Okay, good morning, everybody. It's 10:30. I'll call the meeting of the public safety to order. Becky, would you do roll call, please?
I sure will. Keen Hudson,
Present.
Mike Copine,
Present.
Chris Norberg,
Here.
Mike Pearson, Katie White, and Mike. I just got a call from Mike Pearson. He's on his way here, so he'll be here shortly.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Well, that's about as short as you can get. That's quick. Okay, anybody have anything they would like to say, Dean? Tom? Okay, we'll give everybody else a chance.
Can I just say something, Mike?
Sure.
I just want to remind everyone that filing dates and pulling petitions is in 3 weeks from today. And if you look at my report on the previous committee, there's the list of that, but it looks like there's 3 in County Board 1, 3 in County Board 2, 2 in County Board 3, and 3 in County Board 4. So get out there and run for county board.
I've always run from it. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Nancy. Anybody else? Okay. Are there any changes in reference to last month's minutes? Corrections, objections, or anything? If not, they'll stand approved as submitted. Okay, animal control, I don't see anybody. Okay, Amy. Good morning. Have you got,
Today, unless you have any questions for me.
really?
Really, honestly,
Good girl.
great.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Amy? Don't spoil her day. Good job. Thanks, Amy. Okay, don't have anything from the coroner, judges, or public defender. We have nothing. Is Terry here?
Nobody's here.
I skipped over animal control. That we don't have anything there. Okay, I get back. Emergency Management Agency, unfortunately, the director has retired. Sheriff, is there any hope?
Actually, we did go over some resumes yesterday. We had 6 applications for the position. I believe we're going to interview 3 or 4, 3 next week that are interested in the part-time position. So we've got some options, some very look like viable candidates.
Okay, well, that'll keep you from having to wear another hat, so.
No, that's actually falls to Chairman Olson. Jeremy and I are helping him at this juncture.
And due to it actually falling to Chairman Olson, it ends up just falling to me because Chairman Olson just puts it in my court, so.
Mhm.
Okay, I have nobody from the Health Department, Probation Department. Stacy,
Good morning.
good morning.
We are in the beginning stages of moving towards Tyler, the new technology package for the county. So starting this week, we'll start with a little bit of training and learning a little bit about the system. This is going to take us about 6 months before we are fully trained and ready for our office to move forward with
Okay,
it.
that's just about the retrain situation, 6 months, isn't it?
What's that?
I said at 6 months, won't you have to retrain? The things will be outdated.
Definitely not. No,
Okay, anything else?
that's it.
Good, thank you. Any questions for Stacy? Okay, moving on. Sheriff, it's your turn. The reports that I saw, read,
Yep, I think my
fantastic.
most recent
I mean,
report is in your onboard. As you will read that we had a couple tragic incidents. in
Sorry to
June.
see a couple of them that were there. That was,
Correct. We had that overhead electrocution in Amboy, what turned out to be a double fatal over in the area 251 and Chicago Road. But we did have a nice incident with one of the deputies being very proactive and catching some individuals with some stolen property that at the time of the traffic stop did not know it was stolen. However, it came in the following day and basically we got these guys pretty much.
He has to feel so good over having the offense before it's been reported.
He
And
had, I mean, his suspicions were definitely aroused, so.
that feels
But
good,
it's
I'll
just
tell
like
you.
you
I've been
couldn't
there.
put-
That happened to Andy Tarr and I years ago.
Yep, we couldn't put the pieces together until a couple hours later and
Yes.
everything fell into place. So, no, very nice deal. One other, looks like we went over and assisted Whiteside County with executing 3 search warrants. They had a situation over there where 3 masked and armed individuals went to a garage party, assaulted some of the people and then fired some shots indiscriminately. So they identified the individuals. We went over and assisted them with executing 3 search warrants as part of the investigation. So we assisted them in getting that right before the 4th of July. The staffing, I mentioned. So we've got 2 current employees as of last night. We're going through the background process for the Dixon Police Department to be hired as police officers doing a lateral. So we got the potential to lose 2 there. We had another situation where we were up to staff in telecommunications. However, one of the probationary telecommunicators, it just wasn't working out. So we got to go a different direction. So we're going to be hiring another telecommunicator to replace that position. And we're still working on Kevin Lally's replacement. So that's all I got.
Okay, sounds good. Anybody have any questions for the sheriff? Okay, thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Mr. Boonstra, State Attorney's Office, anything you'd like to share with us?
Not too much to share with you today. My financial compliance officer is off last week and this week, so I don't have any numbers for you when it comes to the collections. I'll have those next month for you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of the State's Attorney? Okay, thanks, Charlie. Jeremy, report from Abandoned Property Focus Group.
Yeah, sure. Quickly, I'm going to jump to EMA real fast. We just, again, Kevin retired the beginning of the month. There is a handful of different grants that run through EMA that I'm working on right now. So just trying to keep you guys informed and in the loop. The EMPG grant that reimburses part of Kevin's salary or the EMA salary that we currently have. I am doing a report, an expense report on that right now and getting that submitted to the state. That grant, which is what we are relying on, hopefully for part of that, his budget next year is still in limbo. I did talk to the state. We're hoping to know a little bit more on if they're going to open that back up this month. And there does seem to be some optimism for that, but just things to keep in mind. And as we're working through budgets, currently, we're trying to account for that one way or the other. And that's where we're going to be, able to move some things around. And that's part of this discussion on hiring a new EMA director, with different options through the sheriff's department or either a standalone, part-time, full-time to a hybrid within the sheriff's department. And we're looking at all avenues. We're trying to make sure that whatever we do, it's well thought out and we look at every angle before we jump to something, and trying to make sure that we execute as efficiently as possible. Going to the abandoned properties, nuisance properties, things are going very well. We have, with Joe coming on board, we've moved a little bit quicker with our Strong Communities program. We did get that extension through this. Well, we're working through the extension with IDA right now. And the city of Dixon has submitted for 4 of properties which have been approved through IDA through their pre-approval process. So they're going to be able to start moving forward. That's great news because we've been kind of at a standstill for a year and a half. The city of Amboy has everything in except for our intergovernmental agreement. And then we're going to submit for theirs, should have no problem with pre-approval, getting that done. So things are moving, which is great. We have one of our attorneys working on one of our large projects, large nuisance property projects right now. That is next on our list. So hopefully next month we have some more details from the focus group. The Lee Center School project is still slowly churning. And again, as I reported last month, once they get a little bit more detail and some renderings done, we'll have them come and do a report to committee or a presentation to committee, so we all understand what process is being taken place right now. 2 weeks ago, they had someone come out and do some more inspections. So again, it's a very slow process, but it is moving along.
I think one of the early on statements was that there was going to be a development package or whatever that was going to be submitted. Does that have anything to come into play with the continuing interest on the property? Is that going to be submitted?
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is when that is, when that is complete, we will review. And then I've asked that they come to committee and actually present that to committee. So we, have a public discussion upon what the next steps might look like. Because as, the county, it's good. We're going to have to vote, county board will have to vote to move into that relationship with them. Because there's
Okay.
going to be, essentially a development deal in place to make this happen.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Jeremy on any of that? Actually, things are going pretty well, I think. When we've had the meetings and discussed all the departments that are involved in it, I think it's starting to gel very good. And I think there's going to be some further action started on abandoned properties and everything that's going to probably provide a little bit more activity for the sheriff's department. You never know, but
Yeah, and on that, I guess within the departments collaborating more, we're working on building out a better citation form for violations that could be used within the building and zoning department and kind of a cross-platform with the health department. Because right now, a lot of what we're issuing is based upon health code. And so we're trying to make sure that, as what you guys will see as committees coming up is more conversation about having some more teeth within the building and zoning code so we could process through there, not just through health code. And then working through that code enforcement piece of it between an interdepartment structure instead of just one. We're trying to work more efficiently. We're trying to, make sure that, the financials that we're putting into this is being executed again, as efficiently as possible. So we're not wasting dollars in multiple different areas, throughout the departments when we could focus on this as one. So that's what we're trying to get to eventually.
okay. Any questions, anybody? Okay, thanks, Jeremy. Okay, moving on, Northwest Illinois Criminal Justice Commission Quarterly Report. Mr. Hudson, have you got something to share with us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, the Northwest Illinois Criminal Justice Commission met on Tuesday, July 1st. Lee County is a member of Mobile Training Unit 1. The 2025 training schedule for law enforcement agencies was discussed, and training is provided alongside with and provided by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training Board. The subjects were discussed were subjects that were mandated, certification, recertification of law enforcement officers throughout Illinois, but provided especially Mobile Training Unit 1, which Lee County is a member of, and the Northwest Illinois Criminal Justice Commission. They meet quarterly, and our next scheduled meeting is Thursday, September 25th. End of my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Keen? I think it's great that that organization is still going. I think
They
there was
provide a lot of training throughout the years for all law enforcement throughout Illinois, but I feel we're fortunate with our mobile training unit 1 that they have a close connection with all the area law enforcement agencies, especially the counties and cities.
Okay, thanks, Keen, appreciate it. Under unfinished business, Jeremy, do you want to just highlight the note that you had there as far as the ordinance and where we're at with them?
Yeah, so everybody should have the draft burn ordinance in their files there. You know, this has been a topic of conversation for a handful of months now as we've gotten into burn season. We've gone through a couple different draft revisions. And again, this is really a foundation to get things started and, you know, and to move forward here. This ordinance I did provide to you guys last month with, again, a few small revisions. We removed the some of the time constraints that were put in there, and then we also removed the appeals section because if they're getting a citation, they're going to be going through the court system anyway, the court process. So there's really no need to go to an appeals process as they're already going to be going through that. So we removed that as well. I did send this out to a couple external agencies just to get some feedback on this as well, and everybody seemed to be pretty happy with at least this as a start. So if you guys have read through this, again, the title and purpose again is just to create a Lee County open burning ordinance. It's just to be adopted within unincorporated areas of Lee County to protect life, property, and environmental quality in accordance with the Illinois Environmental Protection Act. And that, you know, if we move forward with this authority will be granted through statute that is already in place. So it's up to committee to move this forward to the exec board. And then if this was something that is approved by county board, it'll have to be held over. And then, you know, for full approval in August, as it is an ordinance.
Okay, any questions for Jeremy on that? If anybody approaches you and asks if we're trying to control what they burn or whatever, that's not the case. I've mentioned it before and I'll just re-mention it again. We're not looking to tell them they can burn this, they can't burn that. The state's already done it. It's already in state regulation as to far as what can be burnt. So, go ahead, Mike.
Jeremy,
Yes.
when you sent this out, were there any other drafts of this that included a first offense of a lower denomination?
No.
No.
This is kind of just where we started. Yeah.
When comparing with other,
Yeah, I actually, so the penalties that were in here was actually provided in a previous working draft from the county board and other agencies that was given to me.
Okay.
I didn't adjust it from there.
Chris.
So my question is, if the state's already got a lot of this in there, what are we actually trying to accomplish? Like, I understand the red flag warnings, but do we have the mechanism to enforce it? Do we have the personnel to enforce it? Like, that's really, I see the hey, if we've got 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, like, use some common sense, don't go burn anything. But do we have the mechanisms to control it? That's my concern. Does that make sense?
I understand your question, and it is a good question. I guess I would turn to the sheriff and.
that's what I was just going to ask if I could interject. It would be much more easily controlled at the county ordinance level versus the state level. The state's had this in place for years, and as you can see, things run rampant.
Yeah, in the way that this currently states, and again, you know, as an ordinance, anything can be changed, you know, so if something's not working, we have the ability to amend the ordinance, right? The way that this currently stands in section 7 and the enforcement side, it would be, you know, able to be enforced by Lee County Sheriff's Office, fire districts, and designated code enforcement officers, you know, that are from the county's perspective. Now, again, I think this, I don't create policy, right? You guys create policy. This has been brought to us as a topic of interest because of there's been some tragic events that have been going on with open burning, recently. And, I think we just want to make sure that we could get a little bit of wraps on that and have the ability to have some teeth in the game if we need to go out and enforce something. I do believe that you still could under the state statute. But, as the sheriff said, I think that it's just been a little bit difficult. So, but this is, again, you guys are the board. This is policy that needs to be created. If needs to be created, will come from you.
Go ahead, Chris.
So like the one part that I see in there is burning in the right of way. I know that we probably don't want to make it burn a ton of right of ways off, but there are right of ways that need to get burned by farmers, by townships, so on and so forth, because they can't be mowed. They might have cattails in it, whatever. It makes logical and logistical sense to mow it or burn it versus mowing it at the end of the year. And then really the incident that happened in Lee County was caused by the state anyways. So are we going to go and find them down at the Green River Preserve for not doing what they said they're going to do and burning on a red flag day? Like, I think most people in Lee County are using common sense. It's that incident that happened this spring.
I agree with that.
probably
I agree with it, Chris.
I agree wholeheartedly with that as well. I mean, there are just a few that kind of upset the apple cart and don't adhere to some common sense notifications from high winds to, very dry conditions that we shouldn't be doing open burning at.
There have been a couple of occasions where controlled burn was reported and the second call received, it's now an uncontrolled burn and they've had to call departments out. A lot of people don't realize what it costs to dispatch a fire department to go to a scene for something that could have been avoided. And that's what we're looking at. We're not looking at being headhunters and going out here and writing every violation that's there. Hopefully this will also give a little bit more teeth in the situation to the local fire departments and the chiefs that could be involved in something. I mean, it's just to me, it's a look at the safety aspect of it and a little bit of compliance. It's like the sheriff just commented, you got a red flag warning day. Our telecommunicators are not permitted to tell them that they can't burn. They can suggest, hey, we're under a red flag warning today. Please take it into consideration. And you got the people that are the repeat offenders and don't care whether the wind's blowing or what's going on or anything. Just to perk up the safety aspect of it a little bit as far as I'm concerned. So, any more questions? Thanks, Chris. Okay. I don't have anything under new business. Mr. Boonstra, anything for executive session?
Nothing for me.
Jeremy?
Chris, I see your point about the right of way. Can this be revised a little bit?
We did have a right-of-way situation, not dealing with private property right-of-ways as far as waterways or things like that. But there was in one of our districts, they were burning along a highway apparently and caught several utility poles on fire. And I'm glad I'm not the one that's on the financial responsibility on the end of that. I mean, that's their problem though, that, use some common sense here. Were there people there that could have prevented that from happening? I don't know. So the utility poles, people are not cheap anymore. Well, they never were. So do we want to move it ahead, Jeremy, until,
It's honestly, this is up to you guys. If you want to look at this more, get some more comment, revise it in any way, shape, or form, do that. If you move it forward to executive now, or we could do that further and amend it, but you're gonna be, either way,
How do you feel about it?
Jeremy, is there maybe a provision in there to look at the fact that under that right of way, I understand both sides here. If the townships and or the county, be the townships basically, have to deal with taking care of this right of way burn-offs, which they do every year, I can see if it's adjacent land to farmer and they're willing to, provided they follow the plan here, but if there's a provision in there that they can get an exception to that by the law enforcement, not to throw it on law enforcement or the county board or the township supervisor, with the fact that they accept the responsibility to a degree on that. I mean, once again, it goes back to the fact that it's a common sense issue here. And that's what this is all about. Let's face it, people burn every day, but there's some that go past the, the rules or whatever here. That's what I'm thinking. If there could be an exception added to that, where township supervisors could give the authority to, actually, as farmers are willing to do it. But it's just an idea.
In favor of that?
So as as a supervisor myself, you're putting more responsibility. I think you just take out the right of way. Like, if it needs to be burnt and it's going to be done responsibly by the farmer, the township, the county, whoever it may be, like, you're always going to have the people who are going to put their hand on the hot stove, right? They're always going to do what they shouldn't do. But in this case, like, I expect Steve Bergfeld, who's our road commissioner, if he wants to burn a right of way, he's probably going to do it responsibly rather than Joe Farmer, who is like, pew, pew, let's go out there with my guns ablazing and the blowtorch and start something on. Hey, because we got a 20-mile-per-hour wind, it's going to burn really good today. Like, I think there's some common sense difference between the two of them. So if we got rid of the right of way, I'm fine with it. I like the idea of having a red flag day, like a red flag warnings that no, you can't, puts it in our authority at Lee County. But I think there still needs to be some dexterity for what needs to be done. Because you get in that situation, now all of a sudden, sheriff wants to go out and find the guy because they're burning in the right of way. Now they're going to court and they're like, well, we had the township supervisor said yes. Now you're subpoenaing me to come into a violation for a $250 case. And it gets really cumbersome in my mind, right?
So, I mean, if the committee wants to move this forward with the no burning and public rights of way removed from the conditions, we can do that. That makes sense to me.
I just see some safety implications if you got vehicles going down roadways and you got open burning going on.
I think
I can see where there can be conditions where you would, the townships would close a section of road so they could burn safely.
Again, we could hold this off and we could remove that. We could create some provisions in there for notification, so that it's not just being done and nobody's notified and next thing you know, we have another incident.
Yeah, we get notifications all the time for like culvert replacements for townships. This portion of the road will be closed from this point to this point. Emergency vehicle access is available or not available. So I could definitely see some provisions with notifications and then just the proper, closing that section of road for a period of time, just so somebody doesn't throw a road flare out and then leave. And then all of a sudden we got vehicles going down there and somebody gets in risk.
Right.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. Like, they have the ability to close that road. Don't fine them for closing the road and burn it.
Oh, absolutely not.
So
No,
just
no.
take it out. and-
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
I personally think we hold it over, get it right in this committee, and then readdress it next month. That's just my suggestion.
I'm in favor.
So let me work on it a little bit more with the comments that you have, as you said. And then,
Yeah, Chris just made the suggestion we hold it over.
Yep.
And I think we're all unanimously agree on that. So let's go ahead and hold it over until
Yep.
you fine tune things. And also, just for an addition, I don't know if this is still published by the state of Illinois or not, but it's a little pamphlet of all the do's and don'ts and who can and who can't, basically, on open burning. And it's not a bad one to obtain if somebody's into it in depth. Also, for just information, we do have individuals who are trained. Sheriff, help me out. What are they calling these people that are trained to go out and do the controlled burns? There's a technical term that's used there, but there are people that are trained to go out and will go out. I know when they burn off the conservation area down there, there are individuals who have already been trained in properly conducting a controlled burn, and they're available for people too. I don't know if there's a charge for it or not. I don't think there is, but I've talked to a couple of people that are in that capacity. So, I mean, there's help there. It isn't a matter of striking a match and dropping it on the ground, and doing what they want to do, so. Okay, anything else, any more questions, suggestions on that aspect of it? Okay, so we're gonna hold that over then, Becky, till next month.
Okay.
Okay, we have nothing for the executive session. Entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved by Mr. Hudson, seconded by Mr. Pearson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.